Okay, guys, that's us back for the second half of our mid-series review of the playoffs, and we're back now with the Western Conference. So it's me, David Angelini, with Gavin Callender and Matthew O'Donnell. First one we're going to look at is the Portland Trailblazers Memphis Grizzlies series, and the ridiculous chat that's been going on right now about how Coach Terry Stotts for the Portland Trailblazers has decided he's going to motivate his players. And if nobody's heard of this already, it's a laminated bit of paper up in the Blazers locker room that says "We don't lose to Spanish players." Among other phrases, among other motivational phrases, the phrase "We don't lose to Spanish players" was thrown up there, clearly directed at Marc Gasol. He's saying it's been put up there as a motivational ploy to try and get his players motivated, but is that okay? Is that cool? Is that kosher?
It's fine if you're Nigel Farage or someone like that.
It's definitely not okay if you're down 2-0. if you're already 2 games down, it's not. It's definitely cool. But it's just you don't motivate players and that sort of. It's a stupid way to motivate.
It's dark and racist. It's wrong. It's a bad thing to say.
I think it's just stupid.
I think it's fine if you've got a lot of really racist people in the dressing room. Like if you're coaching the Ku Klux Klan varsity team or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But like for me, I think that I think it's more innocent as being put up. I think it's just maybe suggesting that Europeans are a bit softer in basketball, but it's still a bloody stupid thing to say.
Yeah. It's probably one of these things that's been made as a joke as a team. It's not meant to be racist. They put it up and it's like an internal joke, and once somebody else sees it, they're going, "Oh, we've just suddenly realised." Yeah, from an outside review. I think it's more stupid than anything else. I don't think it's meant to be. It's just a stupid thing. It's especially when you might get swept. You're down 2-0. You're getting hammered by this guy that you're supposed to be insulting. Marc Gasol's playing fantastic.
But what is wrong with European players? I don't get the arrogance of it. I mentioned in our last one, I can't remember if it was the awards or the playoffs we were talking about, but I was just talking about this disrespect that Americans have of European basketball and European players. We're talking about people like Dirk Nowitzki and Marc Gasol and Pau Gasol. And and Mirotic recently. I mean, there's loads of international players. You can't
really say Mirotic.
But I'm saying Mirotic because we've already spoken about Mirotic.
I think the issue you've got, right, I mean, in general, right, you look at the Olympics, you look at the World Championships.
Let's talk about the Olympics actually. Is it 2 years? I don't know if they ran them close in the 2012 Olympics. In 2008, Spain could have won a gold medal off a Team USA. Aye. It was a really close call. Aye. Those Spanish players nearly beat Team USA in the gold medal game.
It was because they were more up for it because of the American arrogance, I think, because you've got young guys like that. Was Ricky Rubio breaking onto the scene then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like Rubio, Fernandez.
He was like a 9-year-old or something like that, wasn't he? Like, stupidly young, but you've got the Gasol brothers are obviously class, but I mean, see outside of them, how many guys in that Spain team could legitimately play in the NBA?
Juan Carlos Navarro.
No, but a starter level and a contender.
Alright,
Navarro couldn't
Sergio
play as a
Ibaka.
starter. No, but shut up, Ibaka's not really Spanish.
He's on the Spanish national team.
I know, but he's not really Spanish.
I'm answering your question, Gavin. You asked how many players on the Spanish national team.
No.
I'll give you the names. We've got Ricky Rubio, who's in the league just now. We've got Juan Carlos Navarro, who used to be in the league, who went away because he was getting more money. Rudy Fernandez, who could be in the league. Serge Ibaka, who is in the league. The Gasol brothers. I'm probably forgetting some people, but there you go.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, Juan Carlos Navarro could not be a starter on a contender. He couldn't. He's not able to do it.
They could have NBA careers.
Well, they could not, but Rudy Fernandez is a guy who's been consistently cut from NBA teams, including Portland, including Denver.
But where else have you been? You had a Spanish player on the Portland roster. You've had other Spanish players on the Portland roster. You've got Nicholas Batum, who's French. You've got Joel Freeland, who's British. Why this disdain for
Joel Freeland?
Why this disdain for European people, like European basketball players? It's offensive to me. And it's unwarranted because European players have shown themselves to be pretty good in the NBA. I think Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless touched on this briefly.
Stephen A. Smith wouldn't care because it had nothing to do with people who are black, or unless if he did care, then it would come down to it would come down to because it's a race issue. Yeah. But that's all it's down to. He makes a big fluster about stuff like that. At the end of the day, it's not an issue of race, it's an issue of arrogance between Americans versus Europeans.
What I was going to say, Stephen A. pointed out that a lot of NBA players, and he did say black players, so which I think is the point you were trying to make there. He pointed out that a lot of black NBA players, and again, I'm just trying to quote here. I'm just trying to kind of echo what he was saying, is that some of them are a bit touchy because they have a rule in place that means that they have to be a certain age before they get into the NBA. So they're so European players can actually get into the NBA it's a bit easier than them and a bit earlier than them, and
we
get
might
more NBA
Also,
games.
they can go and play professionally in Europe, make money, whereas then you go to college and then not
Yeah.
make money.
And Stephen A
Well,
pointed out that there's
allegedly
a
not make money.
Well,
Yeah,
they need
well.
they need to make sure the paperwork's all good. And
Aye, they
Stephen A
could-
pointed out that there are that there are, again, I don't like to keep saying black players that he's spoken to, but he said the black players that he's spoken to, that he knows are a bit touchy about that and are a bit touchy about European players, and I think that's a part of what was kind of part of the reason for this was that they did, that part of that disdain for European players, but it had something to do with the fact that these guys can play professionally earlier and get into the NBA earlier and all that kind
What,
of
so if MLS takes off in America and there becomes a rule where you've got to go to college if you're an American before you go to MLS, they're going to get really touchy about the Europeans who've been scalping them at soccer for however many years. Like, at the end of the day, basketball is American, right? It's an American sport. It's the only American sport, the only sport that was fully created in America. But at the end of the day, I can't see the issue. I can't see the issue in European players. I think Terry Stotts has said something stupid. I think it's getting blown out of proportion.
just before we move on, just point out that if it is a motivational ploy, how motivated are his boys going to be when that Spanish guy sweeps them 4-0? How are they going to feel about themselves after that, and they're making such a big deal about not getting beat by Spanish players?
Probably hate the Spanish even more.
I think it's just, but
so next year they're even more motivated.
that's not a good thing either, though.
No.
They're about
It's-
to get
yeah.
swept. It's just bad. It's poor
Yeah,
taste.
I think
Any kind of
it's-
racism is, I think, totally out of
It's
place.
when it comes to basketball, they're just not in trouble. I was just saying Marc Gasol is playing well. He is playing well. LaMarcus Aldridge is playing well. Damian Lillard is not. He's 16 points on. I'll try this off the top of my head. I think it's 28% from the field, 9% from 3-point. That's a 0 and a 9%. Yeah. So the problems aren't to do with posters in the locker room. The problems on the basketball court. And I think this is just a stupid distraction that's going to cause all these arguments to blow up.
And wait till you see Marc Gasol come out and play hard next time.
Yeah, Jesus, he is gonna do some. See, I'm not even worried about Marc Gasol. I think Zach Randolph's gonna be the one. I think Marc Gasol's gonna sit back, watch and enjoy.
I've been more impressed than Marc Gasol put up 30 in the first quarter and went for a siesta for the rest of the game.
Yeah, we'll show you. So we'll move on now and we'll talk about Anthony Davis briefly against the Warriors. Warriors are 2-0 up as well. You have to say that the Pelicans have kind of probably been more competitive in this series than you would have expected them to be, or at least I would. I think Matthew did mention that they thought they would take a game, and they might take a game.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I'd like to point out, I did point it to Dave, but we had this argument about Tyreek Evans in the starting lineup.
Yeah,
he
turns out
is,
it was,
he is
yeah.
indeed the starting point guard.
Yeah, as the starting point now.
It's-
Still
it's-
watching off Pelicans back.
Just a little point. Which I think he's a decent player. I think he does bother Curry in some occasions with his length. Obviously, not a lot of occasions because Curry is hammering. How many was it? 26 points a game. But
He had a
Yeah.
bit of an injury concern in the first game as well, didn't
he did. Yeah, he went out after playing 11 minutes, but he's back and
Aye.
playing fine now.
He was getting was that an MRI in his
Yeah, he got an
knee,
MRI, but
was
he's
it?
been cleared now, so it's all good. But it was just a bruising.
I like see when Tyreek came in the league. I thought he was unreal. I know he won Rookie of the Year, and I know what it's only 4 players that have done what he's done. 25-5 in your rookie
he?
season.
He played as an oversized point guard though, which I
Aye.
think.
But the
could've
pro-
kept-
Which is what he's doing now.
The
Yeah.
problem was what happened was everyone saw what he does. They thought he's not got a jump shot really.
As soon as he got in the scouting report, people kind of changed how they played.
It's the same as every sport. You need to be able to adapt, and like you look at the best players. Look at Damian Lillard. His first season, he was a gunner, like he would shoot, but he kept developing. You look at guys that have gone on to succeed, like obviously guys like Kevin Durant, LeBron James are different scenarios where these guys are that dominant at what they do anyway. LeBron's just a steam train, and Kevin Durant will just shoot over the top of you. It doesn't matter what you do to defend him. But Tyreek never adapted, and he kind of went in the doldrums for a wee bit. I'd like to see him come back. 'Cause he's
He
hugely
has
skilled player.
I've been watching quite a lot of the Pelicans this year because I do quite enjoy them. I don't like how Tyreek takes over in 4 quarters and they completely avoid Davis, because I think your best player, get the ball to him in the post, get him these baskets. Tyreek shouldn't be taking. I can't remember what it was, but he was taking more. Every game I watched, it was Tyreek taking the ball to the hole instead of giving it to Davis. But I think it's a decent team. You've got Tyreek, you've got Eric Gordon, who's had a good shooting year the second half of the season. Davis is just the brow is doing Anthony Davis things, putting up 35 a night.
They ran. I didn't even watch the highlights actually. Game 2 against the Warriors, but I hear that it was Klay Thompson that kind of bailed them out. You know, that was almost the one dropped.
Yeah. I think it was Klay Thompson scored 16 to the Pelicans 14, something like that. But yeah, he outscored the Pelicans whole team.
Steph never scored in the fourth quarter. Is that
Yeah,
right?
it was Klay Thompson took over. But I still like it. Norris Cole, think's a decent player. He's hounding guys all over the court.
He's tenacious. He'd probably be really
So,
lucky
I
player.
do-
No, it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
No,
It doesn't matter.
I still peg them to steal one game in New Orleans.
This is filler.
Yeah. Listen, Anthony Davis. Look, we like watching Anthony Davis.
We just like talking about Anthony Davis because everyone knows he's going to be the next big thing.
Well, what's his playoff averages now? Like
72, 49.
He's 35 points, 3 blocks, and I want to say 9 rebounds a game. He's definitely 35 and 3 blocks. He's just under 10 rebounds, I'm sure.
It's only going to get better.
Yeah,
That's his first ever playoff game.
He's above average, isn't he?
he's struggling. He's a bit nervous. He's going to get better. Don't worry.
I think it's good stats by team.
I think he's shooting 90% from the line as well, which is good. I think he's just.
It's all right.
I'm sure he's
He's
got
80% from the line.
But a big
He's
guy.
he's only taking 3.
No, he's been getting to the line, which is
Breaking
good for a young. He's not settling for his jump shots. He's developing a jump shot, but he's getting to the line, getting easy baskets, which is good, and shooting 90%.
Can't see, there's no seeing past the Warriors in this series.
No, it's going to be 4-1.
4-1.
4-1.
Sweep.
I think sweep as well. But that's a tough.
Davis,
it's
there's
tough.
going to be a game where Davis goes off.
I really need to see
Doesn't
how
matter.
competitive the next game is before I kind of. I'm sure one way or the other if they'll get a game.
When you've got one game left.
When it's
potentially.
3-0, that's when it's
then,
start
then I'll show my hand.
He went to the fourth quarter of the
That's
fourth
it.
game and then let you know.
Aye.
No, there's nothing big with it. It's a bit
With the Warriors up by 14.
Without a doubt, one of these two teams will advance to the next round.
I'm not bailing out of making a call. I'm saying
Thank you, Neil McCann.
I'm saying the Warriors one way or the other. I'm saying will it be Warriors in 4 or Warriors in 5? That's the only thing that I'm not sure about. So shut it.
I think the thing is, at the end of the day, the aim of the game is to put the ball on, through the hoop, and whoever does it the most times is going to win.
No, I'm not going to end the maths of different. Let's move on quickly.
So we've got Spurs and Clips now. Again, I saw Skip Bayless getting a little bit dismayed after game 1 when the Clips won. But which when you look back and you get 20/20 hindsight, you think, well, you expect them to get one. They've got home court advantage. Spurs won the second game on the back of Tim Duncan and Kawhi.
And Haka Jordan. Haka DeAndre.
Some Haka DeAndre, which is getting
Six
tougher and
man,
tougher to
the
watch.
6
I
man.
can't watch it. I can't. We had to turn it off. All the no results, guys. Get this to fuck.
Just we'll check it on League Pass.
But
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 it's condensed game. We'll skip all that.
Skip was a bit dismayed. Again, his Spurs, he's passionate about it, so he's going to take an extreme point of view one way or the other. But I think after winning game 2, Spurs are exactly where they wanted to be. Heading back to their own court, having stolen advantage off the Clips, they're in good shape now. If these the play of Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker isn't going to continue to be as bad.
I
as
think
it was.
Manu Ginobili was good. Like, I thought Manu
Game 1, I
Ginobili-
think he was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Aye, but see if you're getting 1 out of 2 games from
Yeah, I
Manu
don't think-
Ginobili, he's
that's
a
what I
loose cannon. He's been very good over his career, but
We kind of wrote the Clippers off in our preview as well now, but
Aye,
it's
they're
not as
still go- they're
it's
still
not
going.
maybe it isn't going to be as clean as clean cut. This could be a tough series if
Blake
the Clippers
Griffin's
manage.
triple-double.
Yeah, I mean Blake Griffin's play has been phenomenal. Like I couldn't believe how well
28, 12 and a half, 8 assists.
And
20
triple-double.
20, yeah, he got trouble on it.
and 3 steals,
3
and
steals, 3
blocks.
blocks.
Yeah, 3 steals,
first
that was the
three
first game,
steals,
3
first
steals, 3
game.
blocks, yeah. How
Absolutely,
did he block any shots, those short arms is?
He's using his feet.
Okay.
Not like a scorpion kick.
Yeah,
I
scoring.
thought he was a
I'll
Colombian
buy it.
goalkeeper.
No, I think we're seeing exactly what we kind of expect in this series, where the Clippers bench has been it's just
good.
non-existent.
What was the lineup? Austin Rivers, JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford,
Big
Hideo
baby,
Turkoglu,
Hideo,
and
yeah,
Big Baby. Aye, like.
yeah, that's.
As I said, it's just a good thing that lineup doesn't have to run up and down the court. But against
Well,
the Spurs,
fairly
it's-
certain that I could beat that lineup.
It's a good thing that lineup doesn't get to play because right now CP3, Redick, DeAndre, and Blake are all playing over 40 minutes a game, and I think Jamal's sitting at 25-30 as well.
Redick's good.
Redick's good, yeah. He's getting 40 minutes a game.
Can't
over-
defend.
Yeah, he can't defend, but he's hitting free. He hit that crazy 3-pointer coming off the screen.
He also
Goes
got
up, yeah.
turned into a bit of a poster by Kawhi. Well, not a poster, but more a sort of highlight reel with that wee half turn, a half spin.
He sent him flying. That was good to watch in slow motion.
I think it's a kind of what we've expected. The bench is a non-factor for the Clippers, and well, they've got no wing play. You know, they've got Jamal
Said it,
Crawford
yeah.
playing the free, which is an issue.
If they beat the Spurs though, if they manage to pull it out of the hat and beat the Spurs in this, who can stop them? They could go to the finals actually.
Any number of teams, Golden State.
I mean, it'll be a good series.
Golden State have like 25 guys between 6'7" and 6'9".
I don't know. I don't think
Steph Curry's the only guy.
That's an
in
interesting
that team.
series though. That's a really it series. If it goes to maybe the Western Conference Finals and it's the Clippers and the Warriors, I couldn't pick. That's a tough one to make a call about.
I think it's a high score.
But Matt Barnes, right? Matt Barnes is what 6'7", maybe 6'8" at a push, right? Klay Thompson 6'7".
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've got.
Below that, you've only got Leandro Barbosa and Steph Curry that are smaller than 6'7".
Well, put it. You've got Klay Thompson. You've got Harrison Barnes. You've got Andre Iguodala. You've got Brandon Rush. You've got Sean Livingston. Even Draymond Green is about that height. You know, they've got loads of guys who can play at wing position. My only issue, we'll stick on the Clippers and Spurs. My only issue for the Spurs is Tony Parker's
not well.
Yeah, not well.
Seems to be ill.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on there. He might have 14 broken legs, so I don't know what's going on. But he looks not himself.
The best thing that Doc Rivers could do is put a sign up in the dressing room saying you can't get beat off the French, Argentinians, the
French, Italians, Australians,
the Italians.
Aye.
No, Tim Duncan's
Virgin Islands.
Yeah. Basically, Americans, you can beat off Americans, that's it.
So essentially, Kawhi Leonard, if he scores 120 points, then the Clippers deserve to lose. Holding it to Terry Stotts. I've made him. I've just completely undermined my own argument about Terry Stotts.
Just made him a racist now. We're just hounding on him for being a racist. Donald Sterling, Mark II.
Danny Ferry gets sacked for less.
Yeah. Interesting. This series has become actually quite good now. I wrote it off in my head and now I'm watching it. I'm like, this is actually good. This is actually quite interesting to watch.
Is that how you think? You
I
actually go,
in my head I go,
Objection. It will be interesting right up until we start filming Jordan. They can turn the
I
TV
know what you
off.
just go, no, I'm away. I don't know, I'm away to what Pornhub or something like that. Just anything other than this, it's rotten.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on now to Dallas and Houston.
On that very enlightening moment.
Yeah, we'll just swiftly brush by that.
Really?
Dallas and Houston now. Again, I predicted this to be a really, really close one. Number of things have happened now to make it okay for me to be wrong in terms of that series. We are going back to Dallas now though, so Rockets have got the 2-1 lead, which, let's be honest, you would just have expected that to happen anyway. There's that old saying, it's not a series until someone wins on the road, and we're only everyone's 2 games deep now, so we're at that point now where series are becoming a bit more relevant. When people start to take that third game, it gets more interesting. But I predicted the Dallas Mavericks to win this series in 7 games. I don't want to stand by that anymore. I'll say that on the record. I'm pulling out. I was wrong, but not because that was a bad call to make, but because Chandler Parsons is now injured. That Rajon Rondo, Rick Carlisle rift seems to be far more
Rondo's
significant.
out as well.
Well, with a back, I expect to see him.
No, Rondo's got a bounce, but my back.
That's
really
nonsense.
sore.
That's just nonsense. He'll play in game 3. He'll play.
I think they've done. I think they're cutting ties there. I actually did have the Rockets. I think I had them in 6, and then you two convinced me to say 7.
To say 7, yeah.
God damn you bastards! I'm going back to 6. I still have a couple of games. I still think Rick Carlisle is a good coach. I still think they can steal a couple of games.
I might stick it. I'm going to say the Rockets in 5 or 6. Now I said Dallas, but I think the big problem you're going to have is with Chandler Parsons not being there. I know he's maybe coming back, isn't he?
I don't know if it is.
I think there's an indefinitely tag. Yeah.
Is it or not? Was he not supposed to be back if it goes later into a series?
I don't think so.
Maybe
if it comes to game 7, possibly, but I don't think.
Right. Well, they're not going to win without Chandler Parsons.
It changes the way they have to the way they when you're defending the Mavs. Like the problem was who are you going to throw if you throw your best defender at Monte Ellis, who's going to take Chandler? That changes all of that.
But don't worry, they've got Alfredo Camino.
Do they?
Do
they still have him?
I think so. Yeah. They've got Amari. Yes, that's fine.
Get Amari and Lido.
Yeah. I think that was
Lido.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that was one of the main advantages. One of the basically the few advantages the Mavericks had were lineup.
personnel.
Yeah,
the lineup.
yeah.
And the personnel.
Yeah,
now
the
there's
different matchups. They could cause some matchup problems, and that's
Now
what you guys were hinging your arguments on.
And now they're running out of matchups.
yeah, that's.
and plus Josh Smith and Dwight Howard have been outstanding.
Oh, they were phenomenal in game 2. They
no
were
one
absolutely
can
fantastic.
ever have predicted because
we gave it to them both tight in our preview, and they've came out and and been
Josh
they
Smith,
won off the record for dunks or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. For me,
15 dunks in a game between the two.
Josh Smith was up for possibly the least valuable player in the league award, and
Don't get me wrong, he's still up.
oh, he's still out. Don't you when a team pays you go away, you're still definitely up for that award. If a team pays you millions of dollars to just piss off, you're definitely up for that award. But
When you come out and play in the playoffs, so that raises your stock for Andy.
Yeah.
Like just in the same way, if you play really really badly, or perhaps don't put any effort in, or perhaps throw a game because you're in half with the coach, that puts your stock down. Rajon Rondo.
Oh, sorry. I didn't take the subtle hints.
We had no idea who you were.
Everyone knew Josh Smith could play. Everyone knows Dwight Howard can play. Like the two of them, like Josh Smith at one point was 4 years in the trot, the East's most snubbed All-Star. Like he should have been there, and I think he kind of played with a chip on his shoulder. Then he went to Detroit and decided, I'm going to be a 3.
I'm going to be the man.
I'm going to be the man, and he's not quite good enough to be the man. He's good enough, I would say, he's good enough to be the third best player on the championship team, but only if your championship team is based around defence and him not shooting 3-pointers.
And he does get to shoot them on this team. Actually, I think he has got
a corner freeze. Yeah,
he's got a greener light than he would have in any other team.
Aye, but if he's shooting them from the corner, it's a high percentage shot. He's not taking it from the wing. He's not taking it from the top of the key, where
and he's not taking as many.
Aye,
Stan Van Gundy turns in his grave every time.
No, sorry, Doug Collins. Doug Collins on his grave. Yeah, yeah, it's Jesus.
That's a reference to another stupid Twitter thing. Doug Collins isn't dead, just for everyone out there. Neither's Stan Van Gundy.
Despite what Josh Smith might wish.
Yeah, so this is just got a whole lot tougher for Dallas. I think you'll see Rondo suit up because they've got no other option. It is. I don't think it's a back injury. I think it's a rift. I mean, he just looked like a bit of a dick.
Doug Collins came out and interviewed after game 2, and Doug Collins says he didn't play fourth quarter, coach's decision.
Rick Carlisle, I mean.
Rick, sorry,
but
he didn't
since
play,
the funeral,
I've just not been able to think about anyone else.
He played 11 minutes. I don't think he played in the second half.
This is
saying we were doing better without him. Coach's decision.
Yeah, that was the coach said not
got his fourth foul.
Yeah.
And
very early. Was he just being pissy, or was that legitimately him being shite? Because he was pretty bad in game 1.
Yeah. No, I think he's gone.
I think
Rick Carlisle came out and said,
he's gone. He's not going to be a Mavericks player anymore. But I just want to, let's pin this out. Where does he go from here? He's just Stephen A. Smith said he's just cost himself $40 million because nobody's going to pay him now. Come off the hour.
Give him a max contract. They've been giving everyone max contracts over the years.
Come off the hour. Come off the man. And this is the playoffs. This is when it counts. And Rajon Rondo wants to be a bit pissy and be a bit of a spitting the dummy out, throwing the toys out the pram. That seems to be what he does when the big lights are on. We keep on saying that when the lights are on, and the lights are on when the big game starts. That's what Rondo does when the big game starts. He's might be on a...
No, I disagree with that. I think the thing is Rondo's got a history of playing massive in the big games. Like
when he plays for the Boston Celtics and he's getting another 3 All-Stars on his team.
No,
I think the Rajon Rondo one we're one for a different day, because I think we will definitely
we'll talk about this in the off-season.
A big breakdown of this.
We'll talk about this in the off-season.
His destination and exactly how much money he's going to get.
China
could be China.
Could be China. I think that's going to be a big question of the off-season, along with a few others. But so
I'm going to revise I'm going to say Rockets in 5 or 6 now.
I'm the same.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to my original Rockets in 6.
Rockets in 6, yeah. Don't take credit. Oh, that was what I really thought. If you had the conviction that, you'd have kept it.
Shite bag.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Scott Brooks really quickly.
I'm sorry.
Can I just say, as a Thunder fan, I believe I've got to take this, man.
Oh, you can do this. We'll talk about Scott Brooks before we wrap this up. Scott Brooks being sacked. Just quickly, from me, I thought it was the right move. I don't know about the timing. Gav pointed out to me actually that maybe this is pretty good timing for this move.
So, interesting factoid. Scott Brooks gets a sack. Tom Thibodeau is not being re-signed by the Bulls. Now, whilst arguably Tom Tibbs isn't a great offensive coach, you've got to say that Scott Brooks' idea of get the ball to Russell or get the ball to Kevin hasn't really worked, particularly in the finals. It got shown up a bit, but Tom Thibodeau coming in, that would excite me.
My thoughts were, you don't make a move like this unless you're absolutely sure you're getting an upgrade. You don't sack him. And I'll say, like, first of all, just to go back, I don't think I think Sam Presti said this move isn't a reflection of this past season. We all understand that it wasn't Scott Brooks' fault that we didn't make the playoffs and all that kind of thing. So I thought that was fair enough. It's just about the direction they move in now. Like, who takes them forward?
It's long overdue, I think. Like, I mean, I really like Scott Brooks.
7 years, is it?
I think he's done a great job. He was there when he was assistant at Seattle, wasn't he? And I mean, I think he's done a great job, but he's taken them so far. I mean, if Brooks went to another team and did well, did the same thing, then I would maybe revise where I stand. I would maybe hold my hands up and say that I'm wrong, but I think the problem is that he's not. He's been blessed with the fact that Sam Presti drafts very well.
Yeah, he's had a really good team to win all
he's
that.
He's good at developing talent.
We'll say, and Mark Jackson's the same. Like we spoke about this, there's different types of coaches you want for different types of situation. There's a coach you need to get you into the conversation, which is Scott Brooks seems to be perfect with that, and Mark Jackson as well. But there's a coach you need a different coach, and they're not always the same guy who just takes you over the edge. And
is he even that guy though? I mean, you look at the guys who's developed, right? Serge Ibaka was always going to block shots. That's what he came into the NBA. Shot blocker. He's not improved his rebounding numbers particularly.
He's become a better shooter.
But he's got to develop something when he's come into the league. Do you know what I mean? You'd have to have virtually no idea about the game to think, right, I'm going to survive here blocking shots. Russell Westbrook came into the league with a chip on his shoulder because no one believed in him going into college. He was in the bench and
they've drafted unbelievably well.
But they bring in Russell Westbrook, right? Russell Westbrook. Does anybody believe that under any other coach, Russell Westbrook wouldn't turn into the player he's turned into?
It's hard to say because
James Harden's only thrived since he's left.
He was pretty good.
he was above average, but you know what I mean? Like he's turned into MVP conversation.
I think with that argument, it also comes into terms of minutes and how much time he's got the ball in his hands. And
you can draft talent, but you need to help the player realise it.
I don't think we're not going to say he's a bad coach.
I wouldn't say
he's
not a bad coach.
He's not a bad coach.
The thing that kind of speaks to me a lot are what seems to be coming from the Thunder locker room, because the things I keep hearing are excited buzz, and that's the stuff coming from the players about getting a new coach. And don't you see if your coach gets sacked and you're excited?
But you know, I don't think that's completely representative of the
I don't think so. I think
Kevin Durant really liked Scott Brooks.
So
that's why he was there. So
I'm not saying they're glad to, but I think it says a lot when they think, oh, we're heading in a better direction. And I think that's what this. It's not.
You need to be in denial not to think you're going in a better direction.
Yeah,
if the Thunder come back next season, right? If the Thunder come back with Tibbs as the coach, Westbrook, Durant, Ibaka all healthy. I want to see what Tom Thibodeau does to Dion Waiters. I think Dion Waiters could actually turn into a really good player, because he'll just say to him, right, you're not playing until, or do you know what, actually I'll pay you 48 minutes a game and just ruin your career.
You can play, but you need to do 8 days of training
a
week. 8 days of training a week.
I think you only make a meal like this if you know you're going to upgrade in that position. And if they get Tibbs, then yeah, I'd say that was an upgrade. But the whole reason I thought that Scott Brooks should be replaced is because they don't run offensive sets that utilise their big players well enough. Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, and now Enes Kanter. I think you still have the same shadow of a problem with Tibbs, because I don't think he's a good offensive coach, and the Thunder defense isn't terrible. It's not like it needs a defensive coach to come in and change it about and revamp it. But that's my only concern. I still think Tibbs would be an upgrade, a definite upgrade.
I think the thing is with Scott Brooks and Tibbs, you look at the two of them, their demeanours. Tibbs it's like a poodle and a pit bull. I don't mean to say that bad about Scott Brooks, but
I mean
he's a nice, happy guy, and he was a point guard. He's obviously can get angry and that, but Tom Thibodeau looks like he just wants to kill you at all times, and that's what you want. You want someone who's snarling. You want someone who's going to be right in your face.
Well, the Thunder have a mean streak now coming into following seasons.
Kevin Durant, that's the one thing. You know he's my favourite player, but see all this bollocks about him having a mean streak over the last couple of years. Like, no, just go out and play basketball. It doesn't matter.
But I just mean that
Russell Westbrook's got a mean streak. Russell Westbrook's showing it.
or has, like, for this Bills team, put a really specific identity on him now, and that's what we were talking about earlier on. Will we see will you bring that to Oklahoma City?
I think first we need to see if it is Tibbs, but if it is, then I think so. I think there'll be I think players like Adams will have a bit more free roam in terms of.
I would say don't rule out someone from college.
I wouldn't. Well, it seems to be that a lot of teams are doing that now. Also wouldn't rule out Mark Jackson.
No, they won't do Mark Jackson. I don't think Mark Jackson's an upgrade in Scott Brooks.
I don't think he's an upgrade either. I just think these, like, how many jobs did Mike D'Antoni get? Who's also been touted for this job. How many jobs did he get? People.
If you think their answer is offense, then yeah.
Well,
let's hope to
my
God.
Like, just categorically, Mike D'Antoni is not a good coach. And has never been a good coach and should not get this job.
Can you imagine how much
that isn't going to be in our podcast. That's going to be like that's going to be a season. That's going to be a 24 episode season.
Dave's getting laminated and put in his will. No, I think can you
we don't lose to Mike D'Antoni.
Can you imagine with Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant and Dion Waiters running 7 seconds or less?
It would be. I suppose it'd be entertaining, but I don't want to see it.
It'd be 3 points.
Every
day we'll do 3 point shot.
I can tell you exactly what. It would just be Russell Westbrook. We're going coast to coast every single possession. It's every
Russell's already back on defence by the time they reach halfway.
And on that horrifying note.
Anyway, we'll wrap this up, guys. Let us know what you think of what we've just said, of what's going on in the series so far, and about who should coach the Thunder next. And again, what you think of the people who won the awards. Alright, thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.